Everybody, welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be looking at the patch notes for 13.14. So, as always, if you enjoy the content, please be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out a ton on the channel. Come by, check out the stream. It's going to be starting around 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Most nights usually goes till around midnight or 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a very friendly, chill community. We'd love to see you. And be sure to check out the rest of the content as well. I am going to get back to doing the tier lists on this patch, so have the support tier list either later today or tomorrow. Do at least the ADC tier list, and we'll see if we can do some more as well. I know I've been saying it for a while, but I do want to get back to making some more consistent, kind of shorter form content for you guys, the 15 to 20 minutes, or 15 to 30. But anyways, let's get in here. Okay, so lots of changes. If you didn't catch the stream last night, be sure to catch it. It was really fun. Spoiler, we ended up getting back to Diamond in it, which was cool, and then we got Jason back into Platinum at the buzzer. So pretty fun, so be sure to check that out if you want to see how all that goes down. It's kind of a longer stream compared to what we do usually. I think we did like 5 hours last night, so it's good times. Okay, let's get in here. So they're doing a ranked reset. Now, I don't know how far that is. I haven't clicked on that yet, but we'll see. I mean, typically it knocks you down a full league, so if you ended in Gold 5, you'll start off at, or Gold 4, you'll start off in Silver 4. Just to give people a little something to shoot for. And I think it's a good idea to do this more often because most people just kind of stay in the same range anyways. You know, if you're Silver 2 or something, historically, you probably float from anywhere from Gold 4 down to Silver 4. And this just gives that extra sense of progress and gives people something to shoot for. Sort of artificially resetting things, but it just gives you that little extra bit of challenge you can work towards. So, anyways, I think it's a good idea to have multiple splits. Most games have it, like 2 splits per year. So that looks like what League is doing. Okay, so the new split, I guess, officially starts on the 19th, so I'm not sure what's going on for the next couple of days then. I know that during the preseason, you aren't officially working towards your split, but any games that you play... So the rewards were last night was when they finished that, but any extra games you play for the next couple of days before they do it count towards your baseline rank, your baseline like LP points before the reset. So for example, if you finished yesterday at Silver 4, but you just win a ton of games over the next 2 days and you finish up at Silver 2 before the reset, then it's going to use that Silver 2 as your baseline for the reset. So in other words, you're effectively still gaining rank when you're winning, and you're losing rank when you're losing. It's just not showing up yet for the next season, but it's pretty much like banking wins and losses to some extent. Okay. Just for a really like rough analogy. I think sometimes every preseason people, say, oh, it doesn't matter, it's preseason, who cares, it doesn't matter. Well, I mean, it matters as much as the normal season does in that it will affect your ranking when the reset happens, right? But as far as, like, for the rewards, it does not actively at that moment count towards rewards. Okay. So they got rid of demotional or promotional series between divisions. Now, I think when they say divisions, I think they mean, like, from, like, gold to platinum and platinum to emerald and all that. So that's really good. No one likes promos. I mean, promos were another way to artificially create excitement again for this phenomenon where people just typically spin their wheels in rank. They don't actually gain rank. That's like the biggest design problem, is how to incentivize people to play the game when people are so rewards oriented and ranked matters the most to most people in terms of those rewards. But most people are not going to go up in rank because it's a bell curve, right? You're playing against other people. If you're getting better, the rest of the population's also getting better. So again, most people stay in that same rank. How do you try to deal with that? Well, they added in the promotion series to try to deal with that, to give people a little bit of drama. So now when you hop between, Silver 4 and Silver 2 over and over again for 6 months, you're at least like, playing these promotional games, adding some drama. But a lot of times it's negative, right? Because when you get demoted, you go down 25, and then all of a sudden you have to win 4 to get back to where you were again, right? You got to win 2 to get back in your promo series, and win, 2 more to get back up there. So It's just goofy. I wish they would just go back to the 4-digit number that they had in season 1 and season 2. It's like, hey, here's your elo. A lot of people understand what that means. It's just some 4-digit number. Hey, you're 1500 or you're 1515. That's what gold used to be. Oh, you're 1850. That's what platinum used to be. But I don't know if they're going to go all the way back there. It is nice to have the little divisions between there, like gold 4, gold 3, gold 2. I think adding more differentiation is good. And that's why I think they should have done the emerald tier probably between silver and gold, because I think that's where there's a lot of people that are caught. They could also do it between bronze and silver, but I think like the average player is silver, and so I think something that's a little bit above average that you can shoot for that's good, that also helps break that up, because it's something like 50% of the population is in silver or gold, or maybe more. So I mean, emerald's cool between platinum and diamond. I think it's going to make diamond a little bit more exclusive, but again, that's catering to people that are above platinum, and platinum right now is the top like 5% of players. So if you look then at the top 5% of players, yeah, you're going to have platinum, emerald, diamond, master, grandmaster, challenger. That's 6 divisions to differentiate 5% of people versus silver, gold. You know, that's 2 divisions to differentiate 50% of the people. So I think that adding iron was goofy. It's like, why do you want a division that's lower than everything else? Why are you adding that in? That's just, it feels bad. You know, and then differentiating between masters, grandmasters, and challenger is kind of goofy too. I think it should just be masters, and you just have a certain amount of LP in masters. But whatever, it's fine. They are getting rid of the those promotional series though, which I think will ultimately be a feels good for most people. Less placement games at the beginning, I think that's good. Just get you your rank and get you going faster. Then they're adding that new tier there, which is cool. More differentiation is good. Although, again, I think it's really the silver people that need the most motivation, the most differentiation. Just kind of your average player going. Most platinum and like diamond people are already like probably pretty committed to the game on average. I would say they're more committed to the game than most people that are in like bronze or silver. So they don't need that extra differentiation and motivation, in my opinion. Okay, Soul Fighter. I don't know a lot about that game mode, but you'll be able to play that. Or the Tournament of Souls or whatever. You got the 2v2v2. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I haven't played that. I don't know if people like that or not, or if that's... It's curious they're deciding to do that, because they're even having a leaderboard for it, because they did Twisted Tree Line, right, for a really long time, which was an alternative to Standard League. It was smaller map, and it was kind of like this. It was like fewer lanes, rotations, like towers. Like, you're not having to think about macro and strategy as much as you are just skirmishing and fighting all the time. They're taking it a little bit more to the extreme here, where you just straight up fight each other and you don't have minions. You don't have rotations. Now, a lot of people might like that, and I don't know, maybe it'll turn out to be very popular. There are some augments too. I don't know a lot about the augments. But I think the meta is probably going to be fairly narrow for that, because a lot of champions, and people are probably not going to design the champs just for that game mode. If they do, if they rebalance a lot of champions, that's a lot of work though, to rebalance stuff around 2 game modes. So it's probably just going to be like the champions are going to be balanced around traditional league, and then they're going to be in there. So some champs are, you know, really good at wave clearing, or really good at rotating, or really good at CC and support and all this stuff, and it feels like those champs are just going to be bad. It's just going to be like, a lot of times, who are the best like 2v2 skirmishing champs, and I feel like that's going to get really narrow and really stale pretty quick, because there aren't going to be that many like strategies that are effective, right? Like maybe a couple, but it's mostly just going to be who's OP, you know, in that game mode. Versus again in League, you can have different strategies to win. Like you can have a fairly bad team fight team, but then win by pressuring side lanes, getting picks around objectives, you know, wave clearing, pressuring, you know, different lanes, rotating, assassinating, you have dive comps, you have peel comps, you have, tanks. There's just so much more strategic variation, I think, in League, and that's one of the big things that keeps it interesting. So, I don't know. I probably won't play this game mode too much, but I know a bunch of people are hype about it. It is a little more straightforward, I think, and simple to play, so a lot of people probably like it. Okay, Nefari, I haven't really looked at a lot of her numbers yet. She'll probably be good. I mean, my thoughts are usually newer champions do slightly err on the side of being strong. Sort of. Like, they often have the potential to be strong, but the win rates are low because people don't know how to play them. But it looked like she had lots and lots of mobility, good dive, good damage. So, I think she'll potentially be good. Now, we'll see where she gets played. I mean, I thought she was going to be a jungler, but people were saying she's like, mid lane, so she'll probably be good. But honestly, I just haven't studied enough to have like a super strong opinion about it. Okay, Aatrox getting buffed a little bit, doing more damage to minions. I think this is cool. I think Aatrox is an interesting champion in the meta. I guess a lot of the fighters have kind of fallen to the wayside, which is sort of weird. Like, some of them are good, but it does feel like, I don't know, there are quite a few, like, range champions that are pretty strong right now. What is actually, there we go. Well, Lytics. Let me just see what's... So I guess, like, yeah, Malphite, Kayle, Quinn, Garen, Nasus... I mean, it seems fine to me. Like, these fighters aren't that bad. Like, Fiora's 52, Garen's 52. You got some tanks. Jax is like 51. So I'm not sure that like all fighters are necessarily that weak. I think it's just diverse, where you're not seeing fighters literally every single game. Like, hard dumpstering tanks, assassins, every role. Yeah, top Renekton. So obviously, he's at least played a lot. Cassante, I don't know if you call him, I guess he's technically a tank. But kind of a fighter. You got Ornn as a tank, Jax, Gnar is sort of a tanky fighter, Rumble's kind of a tanky mage, or fighter mage, whatever, Sion... Olaf, like Kennen. I mean, that seems pretty diverse to me, for the most part. Obviously, Renekton's a little over the line, but Renekton, like Cassante and Jax. But I feel like you could just tap those with some nerfs, and the meta would be like fine. But anyways, okay, so Aatrox a little bit better. That's cool. Diana, some buffs. Okay. She's not that interesting. She's okay. Aatrox is a little bit more interesting in my mind because at least he's kind of a skill shot champ, and there are ways to dodge and kind of outplay his blades. Hecarim getting nerfed a little bit. I think that's good. This champ's pretty obnoxious. Like, he's very, very difficult to peel and like really do anything about when he can one-shot your backline and there's nothing to stop his ultimate. Okay. That's fine. A little bit less resists. Jax getting nerfed a little bit. I am shocked if they do not nerf Cassante or Renekton. It's pretty absurd. I think Cassante doesn't have a great win in solo queue. He's one of those classic, like... Yeah, bad in solo queue, but feels OP in pro. But honestly, his win rate's not that good in pro either. It's 44% in pro. And it's 46%. I just feel like I see him doing really well in pro, but maybe I'm just remembering, like, his strong plays. Okay. Jax, Counter-Strike is up a little bit. Okay, I think that's fair. I mean, they are buffing Shojin, so maybe they're just preemptively nerfing Jax because he's so good with that item historically. Mana cost is up on the ult. I guess that's fine. Mana cost feels a little weird on, like, things that aren't mages to me, that aren't, like, spamming abilities. But I see mana as a way to sort of counteract range champions from just completely dominating during the laning phase because they have an extra resource they have to manage. I feel like that shouldn't be as much of a thing for melees. So that's a little odd. But, okay, Karthus, it's strange because I never see this champ. I feel like there's so much counterplay to him right now. There's so many shields in the game. A lot of magic resist. It's very easily accessible. I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, he obviously, if he gets a bunch of items, like, he can be strong, but he takes so many items and so much scaling, and it just feels like there's so many, like, ways that you can counteract what he's trying to do. Okay, lay waste is down a little bit. Monster damage modifier is up. Oh no, he's getting buffed. Okay, I thought he was getting nerfed, so they're buffing him. Okay, sorry, I don't know, I guess. So it's a nerf early, but it's the same later. Okay. But it does more damage to monsters. Alright. And then Defile is down. Like, wait, these are nerfs, right? Or but it doesn't say what they are. Okay. So it's mixed. Okay, so it is a nerf. Kindred. Okay, so she's tankier but does less damage. That's a lot. 30 and 3 armor. I mean, I think that's kind of cool. I don't feel like she should be one-tapping people. That's fine. That might actually be a buff. Okay, Lissandra. Okay, better AI for the pets. Okay, that's good. I think Lissandra is an interesting champ. I wish she was a little bit more meta. Okay, so you get the slow on everybody. I wish it had like a bigger splash or a larger hitbox or a bigger range. Okay. Interesting stuff on the queue. Our Frozen Tomb. Okay, so you're getting 55% of your AP now as well. Maximum heal value will be at 30% or less health now instead of 0%. Okay. And they're increasing the base. Okay, so she's healing more. The slow is there. It is permanently. Okay. I think it's fine. They should probably bring down her mana cost a little bit too. I don't know. She's okay. I think she's like kind of playable. I feel like I've seen her in some games, but maybe not. Yeah, we played in 9 games. I mean, not a ton. Emilio. Okay, definitely need to nerf this champ. Overall, pretty balanced for most players, but needs to get moved down a little bit. Okay, so losing up to 30 damage late game, that adds up in a team fight. It's pretty big. Now, I don't remember if that's based on their level or based on your level. I think it's based on the level of the person you're buffing. But the fact that you trigger this multiple times with your W, I don't remember if Font of Life triggers this or not anymore. I know they nerfed some interaction with him in Font of Life. But yeah, that's quite a bit to his passive damage output. And then the bonus movement speed is also down. So when you double tap this on someone, it was 50% movement speed, and especially with Shirelia's like running in, there's just like an insane amount of movement speed. So now it's going down to 40% if you double tap it. So I think that's good. I think he'll still be good. Like they aren't touching his W healing or damage or his interaction with Aerie early on, which is what makes him really, really strong in the laning phase. And then he's still like doing quite a bit of passive damage from this, even after the nerf. And the E is still good. They're not nerfing the cooldown on it or the shield strength or the fact that you can apply it to the same target twice for a massive shield. So I think he'll still be good, but this will bring him down a little bit. I think it's fair. Okay. Because he has, like, I feel like he has pretty good matchup against both Rakan and Rel, who are the other two, like, S-class supports, in my opinion. His win rate in Pro is a little bit lower than theirs. Rel's at 54 in solo queue. Rakan's 53. Shh, yes, nobody sees that. Don't nerf him. I mean, he's not getting nerfed this patch, but wow, is he getting picked that much? He's like the 5th most picked. I don't like that. Okay, and then Emilio's 51. Okay. Yeah, it's probably fair. Okay, Rek'Sai. I almost never see this champ. I've heard she's really strong. She had a high win rate, but okay, just nerf a little bit. That's fine. Rel, base armor decrease, passive armor, magic resist, steel decrease. Okay, so she's losing 3 armor base and then losing some resistances. I think that's fine. It's going to be a little bit squishier. It is a little weird that they're not touching Rakan at all and they're touching Melio and Rel. Not going to lie, I'm cool with that, but it's a little weird because he definitely still has a high win rate and a pretty high presence. Honestly, they should nerf the Q a little bit, the healing early on that they buffed him and gave him that. It's a little on the high side. Or like maybe increase the cooldown on Q, which wouldn't really do a lot, but like a little bit. Maybe the mana cost, just like they gave 3 buffs to the Q. They lowered the mana cost, they lowered the cooldown, and they increased the heal. I think that one of those they should probably remove at this point because he's still like he was strong before that, and it just like is just giving him a free pass through a lot of laning phases. Because if you consistently hit that Q, like the amount of healing that it gives off or the amount of mana that you spend is like one of the best early game heals to get through like the first 5 levels, and that's really what he needs. So I would adjust that. Okay. I think she'll still be good. I mean, she might go down to 53% off of this. I think she'll still be really good. Okay, health regeneration per 5 is down a little bit on Rengar, and then deals less damage with like crits. Okay, that's probably fair. I have seen a few Rengars popping off. I don't think he's OP, but I've seen him doing well in my games. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, sorry, I just had to blow my nose real quick. Okay, Shaco. I've seen Shaco's doing fairly well also, so they're giving his Q more damage. That critical strike damage looks pretty nice. Okay. I think Shaco is one of the more interesting champs in the game. Like, there's just so many different ways you can play him and, like, use that clone. And, like, he is annoying to deal with, but he's pretty high skill, like, fairly unique champ, so I think it's good if he's at least relevant in a meta. Okay, Shyvana. All this looks okay. I don't think she's gonna be like too strong. They're trying to make her into more of like a bruiser auto attacker. The big problem with that is she's just completely worthless if she's not in dragon form. So I don't know. I guess they're just trying to say, look, we want her to be really strong in dragon form, and she's just gonna have this weakness, just like Gnar or some of these other transformation champs, or just champs that rely on their ultimate, I guess, to be useful at all. I guess that's similar. Okay, it'd be nice if like her form reset if she went back to like 100 energy after a kill or something like that, so that at least you'd be guaranteed to be able to keep your form for an entire fight. Okay, that's fine. She could use a little love. She's kind of irrelevant right now. I mean, a big part of it is she's very strong at, like, clearing camps, like, power farming, counter jungling, and things like that. And that's just been nerfed with a lot of changes to the jungle. Okay. Volibear AP scaling. Okay. Lightning Claws doing a little bit more AP. Sure. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Volibear is a somewhat interesting champ. Not, like, amazingly interesting, I think, but he's okay. Bring him into that is probably fine. Zerath, high skill cap, has less mana, higher cooldown on the passive. When you kill a unit, though, then it goes down. So I'm not sure. I think that's more mana overall. And you get more casts of the ultimate. They do a little bit less damage. Okay. And then you do extra damage per bolt. So if you hit somebody once, then you're already doing... Okay, and your second shot will be even. Now, I guess as you rank up, it'll be even more. So you really get paid off on your third shot that you hit somebody with. I don't know. I don't think this is necessarily what he needs. He just needs, like, more mobility or something. I don't know. Like, he is what he is. Like, he's a unique champion. If you hit everything, he can feel really OP, but most people won't. And he's very vulnerable. It requires, you know, very careful positioning. It's probably fine. Okay, Zyra. Now, I played a lot of Zyra way back in the day, for those of you guys that remember. But she's just really not modernized at all. Like, they're changing some of the stuff, but, you know, she's slow, no mobility. Like, the damage is good, but there are so many other champs that do so much damage now as well that that's not as unique as it used to be for her. And, just they nerfed so much of her kit back in Season 3, I think. Like, her E used to be almost twice as fast, used to have, like, twice the width. The ultimate used to knock up for 1 second and stun for half a second when they landed, so you got 1.5 seconds of CC. Like, there were just so many perks to her that were so good. And I think your W gave you 20 ability haste, or 20 CDR, cooldown reduction, which is even stronger than ability haste back in the day. So you got something extra in addition to the seeds. Like, Zyra's biggest problem, though, aside from, you know, nerfing her E, like, 3 different ways, was you're not a champion without your seeds. So the W really doesn't do anything other than make your spells actual spells. So they could increase the just base damage on her E and her W, or just find a way to give you seeds much, much more often. Like, if your plant auto attacks an enemy, then you get refunded a seed or something like that. I don't know. It just needs to be like you get a lot more seeds, one way or another. Or that seed passive where the seed comes up every so often, that just becomes your passive instead of getting a random seed in, like, on the map somewhere, which I think is a very goofy passive. Then that just restocks your seeds in general. And maybe that could just be faster, kind of like a Rumble Harpoon or something, maybe. Maybe it scales with level. So, like, early on, maybe you get a seed every 8 seconds, so you can store up to 2. And then by the late game, maybe you could store up to 3 or 4, and it takes 5 seconds to get one more. Then if you need to adjust the damage on the plants or whatever, like, lower it, that's fine. But then at least, like, you have abilities. You can consistently, like, actually do things. And you could have an actual ability on your W. I don't know what that would be, but just something else with plants, or a mobility spell, or like a significant slow spell, just something else that, like, gives you utility. But as it stands, plant damage from AoE spells is down, so your spells are a little more, or your plants are a little more hardy. I don't think that's going to matter too much. Now, the fact that you're doing 40 to 100 bonus damage to monsters, that's pretty good, because right now doing 150% damage is, like, cool, but your plants don't do very high base damage. And that's not bonus damage, that's just total. So if your plants early on are hitting for 20, then, you know, you're doing 10 extra damage, right? You're going to do 30. But this is saying you're doing 40 at level 1. That's a lot. And you can spawn several of these plants in the jungle, and you can actually use your free spawn plants. So they're wanting her to maybe be a jungler. I think she'd probably be a pretty horrible jungler. I mean, if this gives her, like, turbo wave clear and allows her to just, like, completely shank dragon really early, like, maybe. But I don't think it's going to be worth it. It'll allow you to, like, steal the scuttle or something, maybe. But maybe steal an enemy camp. Okay, but yeah, this just isn't enough. I don't think she can flash and use her E now if she wants, I guess. Um, yeah, I don't think it's going to be enough to make her great in a lot of situations. Okay, items. Axiom Arc. 20% of total cooldown. 5% plus 40% of total lethality. What? About 40% at max build. So, if you have 50 lethality, which you that's a lot, then you would get like 30% or something. I don't know. This seems like a very odd change to me. Okay. I guess that's fine for assassins. Um, Gale Force, thank God. This item is so obnoxious, especially for engaged champs, because it's like execute damage and a flash. Like it's defensive and offensive, and it has a really good stat line as well. Like it's just too much. Um, so yeah, I mean the cooldown is lower than most engage ultimates in the game. So 120 is a lot more reasonable because now it's about the same as many of the engage ultimates early game, but then those engage ults, with ability haste can get down to something like, 80 seconds. So you will have a window um, where you can get them. Okay. Infinity Edge, less base damage, but higher critical strike. I don't know if people want to do this. The fact that they're nerfing Gale, it might push more people towards Infinity Edge. I don't know at what point. I'm sure Freak will be able to tell you the numbers that like this gets better. But maybe at a second item, would I trade? I don't know. So if you have 40% crit off of 2 items, then you're doing 10% more damage off of that. Then that's I think that right, like 4% extra damage overall. Is that right? I might be doing that math wrong. Um, but 4% extra damage overall, I think, is better than 5 AD. Um, okay. Oh, they actually did the math and tell you right here. Yeah, 3 to 4% more auto. It's power neutral as a second item. Is that true? I feel like I was thinking you would get the 4% after that. I don't know. Like, I think quick blades are also really good and underrated. So people might just go from like Gale Force to quick blades or something. We'll see. I do not see a lot of people getting Infinity Edge these days, though. Prowler's Claw, extra lethality. I guess that's fine. Assassins are pretty weak right now. Maybe. I don't know. Like, Rengar got nerfed, but that's probably fine. Critical strike damage reduction. Yeah, nobody gets Randuin's. So that's probably okay. People are getting Thornmail or Sunfire. Yeah, it's just like Randuin just doesn't do anything other than reduce crit damage, right? To some extent. I know it's got like a little slow on it or something, but slows don't stack. So if someone already has a slow on somebody, then it's not going to matter that much. And so many champions have slows just built into their kits. So many items also have slows. Yeah, it's Thornmail. Just I believe Thornmail is significantly cheaper. I could be wrong about that, but the fact that it reflects damage and has grievous wounds on it, I think it might have more armor. I can't remember. Yeah, Thornmail is just kind of the go-to. I want a heavy armor item, right? And then Sunfire is if you want the extra wave clear, which like most champs do. So yeah, Randuin just does not do a lot. People still probably aren't going to pick it unless you have at least 2 crit champs on the enemy team. Okay, Spear of Shojin. Cost is down by 100 and health is up. Spear is something that I feel is very interesting on a lot of champs. The caster type of champs. It's been very hard to balance that type of item. I don't remember what it was called before. Was it Spear when it was like super OP on Renekton and Jax before the changes? Um, but okay, interesting. Spirit Visage going up a little bit. Um, yeah, I think a lot of people are going Abyssal if they want one of those magic items. That's probably rightly so. Um, that's fine. Sure. Weird item. Just not getting played a lot. A little buff. Sure. Okay, Static Shiv. This is the item, right? This has been the meta-defining item for like 2 or 3 patches now, so let's see what they're doing to it. The attack speed is going up. Okay. And then Electroshock minion damage is 250 to 450. Now it's 250 to 350. And then it's 25 plus 25 per level. Starting at level 7. And then 12.5 per level at 11. Wait. Oh, that's what it currently is. This is like, arrows within arrows is very confusing. So, it's 250 plus 10 per level starting at 9. Is that... Okay. Yeah, that's right. Then you're going up 100. Okay. So what is that? Level 9 before, it would have been 300? Wait, that's how... It would have been 325. And now it's going to be 260. Okay, that's a lot. That's like 60 less damage. So, I just don't know how much... Static Shiv's minion damage has been turned to nearly kill caster minions, but not quite do it unless you're really high. Unfortunately, the specific goal has meant it's easy to eclipse that with minion dematerializer, requiring Baron buff to push through. Okay, yeah, it's defensive. Yeah, it's just too much wave clear. Like, I don't mind an item that has a lot of wave clear or something on it. I mean, even going back to thinking about like Banner of Command or something, or like ZZ Rot Portal. I mean, part of the problem with those items is they pushed autonomously where you weren't there. To some extent, they could push. I still like that as a choice. But yeah, having a big wave clear item is fine. It just needs to be trash with everything else. It needs to be like, look, I'm getting this item because I really want to push waves, like in a side lane or something, right? Or I really just want to push and roam. So I would go about this almost a different way. Like, they're nerfing the thing that makes this item valuable, which is the wave clear. I would go the other way. I would lower the attack speed, or maybe even just get rid of it, or get rid of some crit or something on it. Like, lower its AD, just make it trash stats, like 60 or 70% cost efficient for the stats, and then you get your wave clear. So if you want wave clear, but you want to do a lot less damage in team fights off of, you know, your other items and your abilities, that's fine. I would not give it scaling with anything either, like AP scaling like it has versus champions, I think is really goofy. So I think they're going about this in the wrong way. They're just going to keep nerfing the wave clear so much that just no one's going to buy it anymore, because that's the whole purpose of the item. And I would just say, look, this is wave clear. That's it. Now, why is it different than Hurricane? That's something you have to think of. I think that Hurricane should be more consistent damage and stronger in AoE team fights and has some wave clear with it. This should be like the ultimate wave clear, but just garbage in team fights. Or garbage in duels. So, I don't know. That's fine, but this item needs to be nerfed, I think. Although, I mean, like, a side effect of this is it is allowing a lot of items that were, or a lot of champs that were not traditionally in the meta to kind of come in and be relevant again a little bit more. Like Kaisa, for example, is a pretty interesting champion that is getting some play because of this. Obviously, you've got LeBlanc. But, like, no one's going to say that this is a super balanced item. Like, and I think that they are right. It is leading to a lot of degenerate play styles. So, I would just wish they would keep it as like something that those champs could do, but sacrifice some of their something else about. Make it have a bigger trade off. That's what I'm saying. And I think they should do that with just a lot more items in general. I think there should be more niche and potentially extreme items that have really big trade offs, just to allow people to specialize a little bit more. I think it's fine if most champions don't build most items, but just to have situational items where it's like, okay, this game I need wave clear. This game I need to survive physical damage or magic damage, or I really want to break tanks here, or I really need more mobility because I'm kiting back against this assassin, right? Like just having more items like that that are niche, are I think where you want to be, rather than giving everything this like common set of buffs, like saying, hey, Static Shiv is a Zeal item, so we need to keep all of its stats very similar to all the other Zeal items that have very different strategic purposes why you would buy them, right? Between Storm Razor, Phantom Dancer, Hurricane, and now Static Shiv. It's like they should play into the differences rather than trying to homogenize all of them. Okay, Sterix. I hate this item historically, but they are trying to make 5v5s a little bit better. It's just the problem. I don't like it. It's just too much survivability, too much tankiness. But its numbers are really low. A lot of people aren't doing it. And there are more like just incidental shield breaking items out there, or champions. So like Renekton, I think instantly breaks shields now. Rel breaks shields. Zeri, I don't remember if she still steals shields for herself or not, or if she just breaks them. But yeah, I think there are some more answers than there used to be to Sterix, so it's probably safe to try to nudge it a little bit. Okay, attack speed, attack damage per stack. Is this a nerf or a buff? Maximum 80 decrease. They're just like memeing on this, just trying to make threes everywhere. Is this like Freak balancing this? It's like, it says Trinity, it should have a bunch of threes. It's just like an OCD balancer. It doesn't seem like this is going to matter that much. I feel like that item's not too strong. Like, it's okay. Whatever. Okay, sure. Ghost, duration is 15 seconds, but it no longer resets. Okay, I think that's probably a good idea because, when some of these champions get this for like a minute or just something stupid, maybe it doesn't go like that high, but longer than 15 seconds, it feels pretty ridiculous. So I'm glad they toned this down, especially, on Darius, like Master Yi, some of these solo queue special champs. It's just too strong. I mean, 15 seconds is enough where you're going to have it up for an entire team fight probably anyways. So I think that's fine. The resetting thing is just kind of goofy. Jungle buff adjustments. Okay. Burn damage is down a little bit. Melee slow is down. And range slow is down. I think that's fine. Ability haste is down, sure. Okay, and I think that's it. So overall, I think it's a good patch. I am looking forward to the next ranked. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Emerald. Hopefully we can get back to Diamond. We'll see. I don't know. Like, it's going to be rough getting through Emerald, but it just depends on, is Emerald, mostly going to be Platinum people, or is it mostly going to be Diamond people? My suspicion is that Emerald is likely going to be people that are like Platinum, either Platinum 2 or Platinum 3, and Diamond 4. So like Platinum 2, Platinum 1, Diamond 4, maybe Diamond 3. Maybe Diamond 3. But I feel like it's going to be mostly Platinum with a sprinkle of Diamond, and then Contemporary Platinum is going to be, Platinum 3, Platinum 4, and then possibly like Gold 1 or Gold 2, kind of bleeding up into that. We'll see. how that happened. I mean, it could either pull down more people from diamonds to be in emerald, or it could pull, more people up from platinum being there. This kind of depends on where it ends up on the curve. But I think ultimately it will make diamond more difficult to achieve. I think that's kind of the goal, and I think that's probably what it's going to do. And so we'll see if we can get there or not. I have gotten a D3 before in the past. If I focus up, play really well, and Rakan is like good in the meta, I can probably do it. But anyways, that's it. Excuse me. Thank you very much. Be sure to stay tuned. Again, tier lists will be coming soon. Check out the stream. Usually around 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time most nights, and I'll see you then. Have a good day.